Hey everyone, it's Jeannie here today with two cards for my third project in my Little Gnome series. For today's card, I will be using the large gnome and little gnome, Trinity Stamps graham cracker alphabet die, and Honeybee's Whimsical Hearts A2 cover plate. I will be creating one portrait card and one landscape card, but I'm doing the same background where I'm going in with Ink on 3's Goddess Green and Trinity Teal for the bottom portion, which will be the grass that the gnome sits on. For the upper part of the card panel, I am going in with Sting Yellow just on the outer edge to mimic the sky on a sunny day. For my gnomes in this project, I decided that I didn't want to use pattern paper or colored cardstock. I was just going to go in with some Copic markers, color them up, and give them some dimension through the markers. As you can see, my gnomes are kind of cut out but still all stuck together, and the reason for that is because I had backed my 80-pound cardstock with the scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive. I mentioned in a previous video that I had purchased this adhesive not knowing if it was good or bad, and at first I really didn't like it because it was kind of thick. Like, you can see that my die cuts weren't able to cut through the backing of that double-sided adhesive, but I found that because it couldn't cut through, it kind of creates a sticker, and it's quite helpful for intricate dies like this. So the large gnome has circles on its outfit, and the little gnome has triangles, which would normally die cut into tiny little pieces, and you would have to do some die inlay. Because I use that backing on my paper, it stays together and it essentially becomes a sticker. So it makes it so easy, and it also helps me color the image itself because I'm not dealing with all these little tiny parts. I am liking this particular adhesive for this purpose, and it's just super helpful in that sense. For my Copic coloring itself, very typical. I am using 3 colors per area: darker, mid-tone, and a light tone Copic marker, and blending everything out just to add that dimension. I really didn't want to have the gnomes be too distracting because I will have that busy background to contend with later on. For these cards, of course, this month is for St. Patrick's Day, and I am not a person to really send out St. Patrick's Day cards. I decided to do a more universal cards and sentiment with just good luck, and this is something that I can keep in my stash in case the occasion comes up that I need to wish someone good luck. I tend to do more universal cards even with the holidays, or I'll leave cards empty and then I'll add a sentiment as I send them out. I've been really bad about sending out cards generally. I do have a postable account, which is this site where you can share a link and people can enter their address. So I have it linked on my Instagram, but I'll link it down below. If you guys want to receive a card from me, just go to the site, enter your address, and eventually I will send out cards. I'm trying to be a lot better at it. It was one of my resolutions for the beginning of the year to send out cards to more crafty friends, but it's so hard because I just don't know why. I actually have a plethora of stamps because I had purchased them every time I go to the post office because they have this credit card minimum and I never had cash on me, and so I would just keep buying stamps. They're forever stamps, so I'm not too worried about them expiring because they don't expire. They're for forever. So yeah, if you want some crafty mail from me one day, I will leave the link for my postable account down below, and it'll show up randomly and it'll be good. Happy mail is always best when it's a surprise. So you don't know when it's coming, but it's coming eventually. So as you can see for the gnomes, once I colored it, I was happy to discover that all the little pieces stuck together and were so easy to peel off as a one whole sticker. So putting this gnome together was a piece of cake, and I am so happy about this. This is one of my newest discoveries, and I have been loving it for the intricate dies. You just keep everything together and it makes it so easy. So I chose a dark green cardstock as my backing because I really wanted it to stand out, and I thought it did with that in the final card. So I used the Honeybee Stamps Whimsical die cover plate on a piece of green cardstock, and I popped out all the little hearts I did also back this with the scrapbook adhesive because I wanted it to be easy and be able to stick on the hearts really quickly instead of using liquid glue because I knew that there were so many of them. And I just used the hearts to create a 4-leaf clover because I do not have any St. Patrick's Day stamps or dies in my collection, and this was my creative way of transforming hearts into a 4-leaf clover, perfect for St. Patrick's Day. Once I finished filling up the bottom part of the panel with all these 4-leaf clovers, I decided to add a little bit of bling. I am using Pretty Pink Posh's green jewels. They have a actual name, I just don't remember the actual color, but I will have that listed down below. And I put them in the center of all those 4-leaf clovers, and it just gave it that extra special touch it needed so it didn't look too plain. So once I have all the gems in the center of the 4-leaf clover, I will actually pop this particular gnome up in foam tape and I will adhere it to the card. I thought that it looks really cute just among all those 4-leaf clovers, and I'm so happy with how this came out, only because I thought that using the hearts as 4-leaf clovers was super creative. I am so happy when I have that kind of discovery. So I also had cut out the Trinity Stamps graham cracker alphabet dies using that double-sided adhesive. These letters are very thin, so I thought that it was super helpful. For the O's, I realized that I would have to cut these 4 times to get enough O's for both cards. So I actually took the Q, which I don't plan on using very often, and I just trimmed off the little tail, and that made another O. And I thought that was just easier to do because I keep the dies together because they are so small. It'll be so easy to lose and it'll just be a pain in the butt to die cut single letters. So I just always die cut them all together at one time because it's easier. So I am just placing them with a ruler and spelling out good luck. And once I added the sentiment, I wanted to add additional bling because I thought that upper area of the card was still a bit plain. And so what I did was I sprinkled gems all over, and then I added an additional 4-leaf clover in the corner, which I thought just added to the card because it was kind of empty there. And I think the embellishments really help. Lately, I've been really into using my embellishments because I have so many that they're just sitting there and you might as well add them to cards because that's what they're for. I buy a ton of embellishments and I don't use them, and so it's kind of wasteful. I've been trying not to buy as many craft supplies because I just want to use up what I have. And I mean, this series is specifically to use my current dies that I have in my collection in multiple ways. So hopefully this is giving you ideas. I do the same thing for this card that I do for the other card, just with a few exceptions of I don't add the additional 4-leaf clover. Everything else is the same. The sentiment just goes across the card instead of stacked. And I've been really into creating more than one card at a time as well, especially if I already have all the supplies out. Hopefully you enjoyed the creation of these 2 cards, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye!